Hello everybody, I am Ananya, 8-3 this year. So I'll just give a brief background about myself before delving into the strategy. So I have done my graduation in geography from Miranda House, University of Delhi in 2021, and post to that I prepared for this examination for 2 full years. Even though this is my first attempt, I have prepared for this examination for 2 full years, and I gave this examination in the year 2023 with anthropology as my optional, and I've been lucky enough to clear it in the first attempt. So let's just get into the strategy now. I'll take the questions at the end. Right now I'll just divide the video into prelims, mains and interview stages so that it will give you a comprehensive understanding. So firstly, let's go to prelims. Let's start with prelims. Prelims, instead of delving on the overall strategy, what I wanted to highlight is what should be done in the last 1 month of the preparation, since prelims preparation is less than a month now. So I'll just try to tell you about what all should be done in this last 1 month so you can derive something beneficial out of this session. So first is focus areas and PYQs. What happens is that, like for instance, if I take my case, I have started my prelims preparation in February. I have given 4 full months for prelims. So what happens is that in the initial 3 months, that is February, March and April, we tend to read most of the things. Like even though we know that there are some focus areas that are being focused by UPSC by studying PYQs and everything, we still feel that we still read most of the things. So in the last 1 month, it is now time to narrow down your preparation and adopt a targeted approach. So first thing that before I start with this, I also want to tell you about my marks in prelims. My score in GS paper 1 is 102, whereas my score in paper 2, that is CSAT, is around 86. So I could comfortably clear both the papers with a decent margin above the cutoff. So yeah, this is about my marks. And then now coming into the focus, coming into the strategy, the first is the focus areas and PYQs. So what do I mean by focus areas and PYQs and why should you focus is that usually we tend to read everything when we start out for the prelims preparation around February or maybe March sometimes. In the last month, however, it's extremely important that you track PYQs and then focus on those areas so that your memory is fresh when you go to the examination hall and those questions can also be expected. So first is, what are the focus areas? For example, there is something like history, especially the medieval Indian history. So the focus areas in medieval Indian history are the terms. For instance, even in the previous years, there have been some terms that have been asked like Virukkal, Nadukkal and all these terms. So when you're reading history in these in this last month, it's extremely important that you see the focus areas which primarily caters to terms in ancient and medieval history. So that is one thing. And coming to environment, we all know that national parks and species are a favorite area for UPSC. So in this 1 month, try to focus on national parks and species a lot. So that is another thing. And about science and technology also. So science and technology, please go a bit deeper into technologies like biotechnology, nanotechnology and everything. So it's not just about a surface level understanding, but also a deeper understanding of the technologies is extremely important. So now narrow down your preparation in this 1 month. Narrow down your preparation by looking at the PYQs and then make a focused plan. So that is one thing you have to do. And apart from that, another thing you have to do is analyzing PYQs. Analyzing PYQs is not just about looking at the previous year questions and then just solving them. It is not about that. What is extremely important is that you have to analyze the options also. For instance, if I have to give an example, there was an option called Namdapha National Park that was mentioned in one of the options in the questions. Even though it was not a right answer, the next year they've asked a detailed question about Namdapha National Park. So it's extremely important that you analyze both the right options as well as the wrong options. So if you do both of these things, next year there is a chance that they may ask a question out of previous year questions. So please do that. Please ensure that you are analyzing the options of the PYQs and then try to get a decent understanding of all the options, so that if any question is asked the next year, you will be able to handle it better. So that is another thing that you can do. And the next thing you have to focus is, please do not forget basics in search of complex issues. What happens is that after like 2 or 3 months of prelims preparation, we go into this panic mode, like, what else should I read? Oh, the questions are becoming really complex this year, so what else should I refer, or what new material should I refer? But it's waste of time to do this in the last 1 month. So what you have to do is that please stick to basics. For instance, if I have to quote a small thing, if you see the previous 2 to 3 year papers, especially the prelims papers, you can see that questions from basic topics like fundamental rights, constitutional amendments are coming up. So these things you have to keep it in mind in the last month. You cannot go on referring for new material by avoiding basic things like fundamental rights or constitutional amendments. So please do ensure that in the last 1 month you are giving adequate focus to basics. That is extremely important. And apart from that, the other thing that I want to highlight in the last 1 month is about the mindset. What do I mean by mindset? Mindset in the sense that, like, you know, it's okay if you are being little defensive in the first 2 months of your prelims preparation, but when the times, like, you know, it's only 1 month away, so you have to develop that aggressive mindset. By aggressive mindset, what do I mean is that you have to have that mental strength that I'm going to do it in any way. Like, even if the question is difficult, even if the question is complex, even if the question is something that I do not know, I'll somehow try to use my elimination skills and all such things to narrow down the options. So this is extremely important. This mindset is extremely important going forward in this 1 month. And please see how you are thinking in this last 1 month. It's not just about your preparation that matters in prelims. What also matters is your mindset. So going forward, see how you are thinking. Are you getting intimidated, or are you having that aspect of fear, anxiety that is going through your mind? Those feelings are common. I do not say that you shouldn't have those feelings, but also mind matters. So see how you are thinking, develop that aggressive mindset and all such things. That becomes extremely important for you during the actual examination time, for you not to give up in difficult circumstances and all such things. So prepare your mind like that in the last 1 month. Apart from that, I also wanted to highlight what happened in the actual examination for me in the last year by taking up a few questions. So first is, if you just look at the previous year paper, that is 2023 prelims paper, you can see that there were many unconventional questions that were asked. Even I was not aware of many of these questions. Like, you know, even I was looking at them for the first time. So how did I handle it? So for instance, there was a question which asked about an animal that makes a tool out of scrape and uses it to pull insects out of trees. At the first instance, we will see this question and we are like, oh, what is this question? Where is this coming from? And the species are also like that. So they have mentioned species like fishing cat and all such things, which we might not have heard before. So our first reaction will be a little bit defensive. That is, oh, I've not read these species. I've not done this question. So how do I tackle it? For this question, it's extremely important that you stay with a clear mind, and that is when you can apply your logics. For instance, how did I do this question? So I saw the question, I knew that I was not completely aware of it, and then I just cooled myself down and I thought, okay, so they're speaking about an animal that is making tools. So which animal is able to make a tool? Only that animal which has a greater cognitive powers or greater brain capacity. That is a very basic thing that everybody of us know. Only an animal with a greater brain capacity will be able to make a tool, and not otherwise. So which out of the options given, which is the animal that has a greater brain capacity? The option is orangutan or chimpanzee. One of those is the correct answer. So it's very simple. Like, you know, even if you don't know the question, even if you apply a simple logic or basic common sense, you will be able to arrive at the right answer. So it's just that when you see an unknown question, do not just get freaked out. Just keep calm and think about, okay, there is a tool that is being made by an animal. For a tool to be made, it is extremely important that the brain capacity should be high. And what are the animals that have greater brain capacity? Obviously, humans are one. Apart from humans, who else are there? Apart from humans, obviously there are other primates like chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans and all these things. So orangutan, I guess, was mentioned in the option. That is the right answer. So this is how you go about solving unknown questions, by keeping a clear head and trying to arrive at the answer by applying your knowledge. And the second question that I wanted to highlight apart from the above question is, there was a question about Cobalt manufacturing. Which of the following countries manufactures 3/4 of cobalt, I guess? So there, the examiner very cleverly gave some options. There was an option of Kazakhstan, there was an option of Argentina, and there were some two countries from Africa. So even I was not aware. I was aware of some other minerals, but cobalt is like, nobody gets to read about cobalt a lot, and nobody knows that 3/4 is produced by country. It is a difficult question, obviously. So how did I arrive at it? So when the examiner is giving the options, just try to understand the mindset of the examiner. Why is he giving the other countries? He might be giving the other countries not randomly, but he might be giving the other countries in the options to confuse us. So what must he have given? He must have given those countries that are the top producers in other minerals. See, for instance, he has given Argentina. He or she has given Argentina. So why did the examiner give Argentina? Argentina is being given because it is one of the top producers of lithium. So they wanted us to confuse, between lithium and cobalt. But lithium, Argentina is the top producer of lithium, so that goes away. And next is Kazakhstan. So why did the examiner give Kazakhstan? So Kazakhstan, we know that Kazakhstan is one of the top producers of uranium. It is a very basic fact. So that is again important, having these basic stats with us, basic facts with us, and then using them to arrive at the right option. So I was able to eliminate Argentina and Kazakhstan because I knew that these options were given by the examiner only to confuse me. Argentina is the top producer of lithium and not cobalt. Kazakhstan is the top producer of uranium and not cobalt. So I was able to eliminate two options, and then I was able to guess the other option. So this is how you arrive at the right answers. And the other thing that UPSC also does is when they are giving questions based on match the following, they try to jumble the options. So for instance, even in the previous year, there were questions, one from science and technology. They gave three options. They gave terms like nebula, pulsar, cepheids, and they gave three options. So they try to jumble the options. For instance, for nebula, they gave something called stars, whereas for cepheids, they gave something called clouds as an option. We know that nebula is a dust cloud. So obviously we will be able to eliminate that option. So it's extremely important in this sense. What I'm saying is that be mindful. Try to read the examiner's point of view. When the examiner is giving a match the following questions, they are obviously trying to jumble the options. So even if you know one option, even if you know that nebula is not a star, nebula is a dust cloud, you'll be able to eliminate that option and the above option also, and then you'll be able to arrive at the right answer. So this is how you kind of arrive at the right answers for questions like match the following questions. And there was another question also, same format, that is match the following, which is nothing but they gave some conflict regions and they gave the countries they are present. For instance, they gave Nagorno-Karabakh, which was very much in use, which was in Azerbaijan. So again, the examiner jumbled the options. So Nagorno-Karabakh, he said that it was in some other country and not Azerbaijan, and the above option also he kind of jumbled. So please keep this in mind. This sort of analysis you will develop from analyzing previous year papers. When you see the match the following questions that are being given by UPSC every year, you will know that the options are definitely jumbled. One option is given down, the other option is given up. So in this case, even if you know one option, even if you know that Nagorno-Karabakh is in Azerbaijan, that is enough for you to arrive at the right option. So this is how you go about it. That is analyzing PYQs, trying a bit to understand the examiner's mindset, how the examiner is framing questions for different kinds of questions, for match the following or for statement based questions, and then you arrive at the answer. And also for unknown questions, it is not something you have to give up easily. If you see an unknown question, absolutely unknown question, you cannot give up just like that. You have to keep a clear mind and then apply your logical skills. You will be able to apply it eventually, which you will practice in your mock tests also. So it is in that sense that you will arrive at the right answer. And then if I have to also give another, if I also speak about another question, there is this question about Arab Peace Initiative, something related to peace between Arab countries and Israel. So they gave two statements and they gave assertion reasoning kind of statements. So in that they gave one option that Arab Peace Initiative was mediated by Saudi Arabia between Arab League and Israel. So this is something we are not aware of, obviously. Who is aware of Arab Peace Initiative and who is aware of Arab League? I was not aware, at least. I was not aware of all these things. But I was sure of one thing. You prepare for mains also, and you know that anytime when there is the conflicts between Arab countries and Israel are mediated by third countries and not countries themselves. For instance, there is something called Abraham Accords. We have listened in our international relations, when we were studying for international relations for mains point of view. We know that there is something called Abraham Accords. So we know that Abraham Accords are not something that the countries themselves mediated. It was other countries, the third world, the third countries that mediated them. So with this basic understanding that the whenever there is a conflict between Israel and Arab countries, the third countries like whether it's the US or whether it's China recently, these are the countries that are mediating and not the countries themselves. So this basic understanding is enough for you to eliminate that option that Saudi Arabia cannot mediate between Arab League and Israel. Maybe it must have been done by USA or it must have been done by China, or maybe the option is wrong. So this is how you arrive at it. That is, it's extremely important that you apply your mains knowledge also in your prelims thing. Just a basic calm understanding of things will help you go about it. So I just gave few of the examples to you to showcase that even if the questions are unknown, you can still use your basic knowledge, you can still use your elimination skills to arrive at the answers, and I've shown how I did it in the exam like conditions. And apart from that, I also want to highlight one particular area, that is sports. UPSC's favorite topic is sports, and there have been ports, ancient Indian ports. For instance, last year also there was a question on port saying Muziris means what? Muziris is ancient Indian port. So UPSC has asked ports 4 to 5 times. So please look into ports extensively. So these are the few things that I'm saying. One is the focus areas, developing that right mindset, and then how to tackle unconventional questions. So this is what you have to do for prelims in the last 1 month. And regarding CSAT. So CSAT, I agree that it's becoming really tricky. It was very difficult for me also in the examination hall to tackle CSAT. But again, for CSAT also, you need to be with a clear mind on that day. And preparation for CSAT is simple. For instance, if you are preparing for English comprehension, what you have to do is that you have to look at the previous year papers, 5 or 6 years papers, and also the answer keys. The answer keys also have to be looked in, not the answer keys that are given by coaching centers, but the answer keys that are given by UPSC itself. So just look at the English comprehension questions and see the answer keys. Then you will get an understanding of why the examiner is giving a certain option for a certain question. Because it is usually between two options only that we kind of get confused in CSAT also, in English comprehension also. So you just see the previous year questions and the answers that are given by UPSC, and then you will get an understanding of till which level the examiner is thinking when the answer is given. So you will be able to find some pattern in that thing, and then you'll be able to answer English comprehension questions in a more organic manner. And also, when you are doing English comprehension questions, keep certain things in mind. For instance, not all questions mean the same. There are asking questions with words like meaning, reflect, inference, and all such things. So when you are seeing English comprehension questions, see what is the word that is being asked, whether it is inference, whether it is meaning, whether it is reflect, because these terms make the answer different. So try to understand the meaning of these terms also. What does reflect mean? What does inference mean? These terms, you go into the detail, you understand it, and then you also try to see the answer keys, and then you will be able to understand the examiner's point of view so that you'll be able to answer the questions better.